Above a forgotten city, a city swallowed by time and veiled in mist, a falcon reigned supreme. His name was Celis, and the endless sky was his kingdom. He rode the thermal currents, a living arrow of bronze and gold, his sharp eyes mapping the silent streets and crumbling spires below. The world was a tapestry of greens and grays, a peaceful, unchanging dominion. Celis knew every secret of this lost metropolis, every vine that choked a forgotten statue, every shadow that danced in the empty squares. His days were a serene ballet of soaring, hunting, and returning to his nest high in the bell tower of the ancient, central cathedral. He was the city's living soul, the last pulse in its stony heart. But one night, the sky turned against its king. A storm, black and furious, tore through the heavens. Rain fell not in drops, but in sheets, and the wind howled like a legion of ghosts. Then a bolt of lightning, a jagged spear of pure energy, struck the very cathedral Celis called home. It didn't just strike, it coursed through the ancient stone, a jolt of unnatural life. High on the parapet, where it had crouched for 1,000 years, a figure stirred. A stone gargoyle, a grotesque mockery of life, felt a fire ignite within its granite core. Cracks spider-webbed across its surface, not from decay, but from a burgeoning, impossible vitality. Dust and mortar rained down as a stony eyelid scraped open, revealing a glowing, malevolent ember. The gargoyle, whom the forgotten masons had named Malachor, stretched wings that had never known the air. The sensation was agonizing, 1,000 years of stillness screaming in protest. It saw the falcon, Celis, circling in the storm, a creature of effortless grace, a bitter, grinding envy filled Malachor's newfound consciousness. That freedom, that boundless expanse, it should have been his. With a roar that was the sound of mountains breaking, Malachor launched himself from the tower. He didn't fly, he fell, a meteor of rage, shattering the rooftop below. His massive, clawed feet found purchase, and he leapt again, a clumsy, destructive bound from one building to the next, desperate to reach the sky. Celis, startled by the tremor and the guttural roar, banked sharply. He saw the monstrous form carving a path of destruction through his city. This was an intruder, a violation of the natural order. Instinct, ancient and pure, took over. He folded his wings and dove. He became a feathered missile, slicing through the storm's fury. The wind screamed past his pinions as he aimed for the lumbering beast. He struck Malachor's shoulder, his talons skittering uselessly off the magical stone. The impact was like hitting a wall, but it got the gargoyle's attention. Malachor swiped a clumsy, powerful claw, narrowly missing the nimble falcon. Thus began their duel, a battle painted across the stormy night sky. Celis was a whirlwind of speed and precision, a ghost in the tempest. He used the storm as his ally, appearing and disappearing in the flashes of lightning. He'd dive, peck at the gargoyle's glowing eyes, and swerve away before the inevitable, clumsy retaliation. He was testing, learning, searching for a weakness in this seemingly invincible foe. Malachor, in his frustration, grew more reckless. He shattered parapets with his tail, pulverized ancient fountains with his fists, his roars of fury competing with the thunder. He craved the sky, but Celis, its rightful ruler, denied him at every turn, a relentless, darting tormentor. The battle raged for hours. Celis was tiring. His wings ached, and each dive took more effort than the last. He knew he couldn't harm the stone beast directly. His talons and beak were no match for enchanted granite. Malachor, fueled by raw magic, seemed tireless, his rage an infinite well of energy. But as the falcon dodged another crushing blow, a sliver of light appeared on the eastern horizon. Dawn, an idea, sharp and brilliant as a lightning strike, flashed in Celis's mind. He wasn't a creature of brute force. He was a creature of the sky, of strategy, and of the light. With a shrill cry that cut through the storm, Celis changed his tactics. He stopped his hit and run attacks. Instead, he flew higher, circling just out of Malachor's reach, a clear and tempting target. The gargoyle, seeing his tormentor seemingly exposed, took the bait. With a mighty heave, he leapt higher than ever before, his stone wings catching a gust of wind, carrying him further into the sky in a clumsy, desperate glide. He was closer to true flight than he had ever been, and the feeling was intoxicating. He roared in triumph, convinced the Falcon was finally his. Celis let him gain, leading him on a chase, a deadly dance towards the growing light. They climbed higher and higher, leaving the ruined city below. Celis flew eastward, directly into the approaching sunrise. The horizon was now a brilliant line of orange and pink, pushing back the darkness of the storm. Malachor, blinded by his rage and his singular focus on the Falcon, didn't notice the changing sky. He was so close now, his claws outstretched, ready to finally snatch the life and freedom he so coveted. He stretched, putting every ounce of his magical energy into one final, soaring leap. And at that exact moment, Celis folded his wings and plummeted straight down. Malachor, overextended and momentarily confused, was left hanging alone in the sky. And then, the first true ray of sunlight broke over the horizon. It touched his stony wing, the magic that had given him life recoiled from the purer, natural light. A terrible, grinding sound began as his wingtip turned back to inert stone. The light crept across his body, a wave of purification. His triumphant roar turned into a howl of despair as the petrification spread. He felt the life, the rage, the envy all draining away, replaced by the familiar, heavy stillness. His glowing eyes dimmed. With one final, silent scream, Malachor the Gargoyle became a statue once more, a grotesque monument to a night of impossible life. He fell from the sky, no longer a monster, just a rock, and plunged into the heart of the misty forest beyond the city walls, to be lost to time once again. As the sun fully rose, the storm dissipated, its work complete. Celis, perched once more on his cathedral tower, watched the spot where the gargoyle had fallen. His kingdom was scarred, but it was his again. He was tired, but he was victorious. He had faced the unnatural and reminded it of the power of the dawn. With a quiet cry, he spread his wings, catching the first warm rays of the morning sun. He rose into the clear, clean air, the undisputed king of the sky, soaring freely above the ancient city that slept peacefully below. Thank you so much for joining me on this epic tale of sky and stone. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an adventure. Let me know in the comments what kind of fantasy duel you'd like to see next. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.